What's happening, people? Hope everyone's well. This is episode four, is it?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain why we didn't do one last week?
I was away for the weekend, so we just said about waiting, and also like the third episode didn't get the best reception
Yeah,
news-wise. We thought maybe like a longer gap, people would appreciate it more rather than
but I think
like
that's what we're going to
weekly.
do going forward.
I think we're gonna try. Yeah, we'll see how people take this one, because we are still getting a lot of messages saying about how much people are enjoying it, but it just didn't get as much as the first one, and then the
Yeah,
second
we
one
don't
was
we
a
don't
little
want to
bit
start
less.
grinding on people if it's coming out too often.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and I don't want people to think it's like us doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be done for the right reasons, obviously.
Plus, we don't want to run out of things to say.
Exactly, yeah. We've only got a short life because we're so young
And I don't remember most of mine
and
either.
handsome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a funny one this week. I turned up earlier, and both me and Harry was not feeling this at all. So
No.
I feel like this might be probably the realest episode we'll do, because we are both mentally not in the best place. And struggle to make this. So it would be appreciated that if people don't really want to see us ain't enjoying it, just to let us know, because obviously we're trying to do it for the right reasons, and we do enjoy it. But it's just, if people don't want it, then we won't struggle to try and do it.
No,
So,
it's hard because you don't know what people want to see. They want us to be positive, and we starting with that already. I'm back on the monster this week as well.
yeah, I'm winning though. So
Yeah, do people want us to be really positive and talk about how amazing everything is, or do people want us to be a bit more honest, as far as it isn't always?
yeah, because
great?
some people might like the fact that we'll talk about a serious topic or about mental health, whatever, but still be funny.
Yeah.
Still have a laugh and a joke, because you can do that. You can talk about serious things and still have fun with it. Like, you can be a bit more open, and where you can sort of tell more stories about some of the things you've got up to, and you'll know that it's affected us in a certain way, but at the same time we've laughed at it and we've moved on from it. And so yeah, just any feedback would be welcomed.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean, like George already sort of pointed out, both of us have been struggling a lot lately. I've suffered, but again, which is sort of on message and on theme for what we've been talking about, I've been forced into reaching out again. So I've reached out to my friend within the alcohol world as far as redoing steps and getting back into a program, back into recovery, and doing what I need to be doing. But also separately, he's put me onto a counsellor that I was in contact with today about doing weekly sessions. And I'm going to start paying for it now, obviously, but it's sort of to keep them separate, because there is addictions and then there is mental health issues. And even though they obviously go hand in hand, I'm sort of trying to divide the two and deal with them both in different ways. But yeah, I've had to make that awkward call twice this week
yeah,
to reach out to different people to go, look, I'm in trouble here. I'm really in trouble as far as doing something stupid, as far as making a mistake, and I need to act on it now before it gets worse. Yeah.
yeah, it's a hard one. Obviously we spoke last week. We messaged to sort of say we'll give it a miss for a week. Yeah, because I was obviously not here, and then we said about we'll start doing it 2 weekly. And then it's funny because I thought last weekend, obviously being away and I was enjoying myself, you sort of forget when you're not at home. You sort of forget what's going on, and coming back to reality, you're still sort of living in that dream world. And I thought, like, by the time it would roll round to the next week, I'd be buzzing to come here and film another one and get another one done. And then it seemed to be that each day it was getting closer. The more I was like, I'm actually not mentally there to.
Because again, that's what I'm saying about it. It falls on that when I think I've got nothing positive to say.
No, and you don't want it to end up just being really negative.
No.
And people are just sort of like, we're not even talking about anything serious now. It's just us being depressed on camera.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's what I don't want it to be. But then, as I say, and I speak from experience as far as when I've been to my meetings that I go to and that. And funny enough, I went to one last week where it's this woman who got asked last minute, and she to do a talk, and she said before it began, she went, just so you know, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. I've had a struggle, and and it was funny. I sort of thought, oh, because there was something in my brain thinking, if I go in there today and it's all positive, all amazing, no, life's great, then I'm going to be like,
good for you.
Yeah, and then it turns to, what am I doing wrong then? Maybe it's me. And then you start beating yourself up. So it was quite nice that it went the other way, and it was only a small amount of people there, and one by one, myself included, everyone shared about how bad it had been. And it was quite nice, not like as in it was therapeutic for everyone just to go, you know what, yeah, I've struggled.
Yeah, I've had a bad week.
Sometimes you can just hold your hands out and go, can I be honest? I'm really struggling at the moment. It isn't great. You know what I mean? Like, especially with my addiction and the disease of alcoholism, you know what I mean? I love being sober. I'm so grateful that I'm sober and that I'm
I'm
still
proud of
alive.
being sober.
Of course I am, but it doesn't mean that every day is a blessing. It is, as far as I need to be grateful for the fact that I'm still here and everything that I have in my life. But I'm human. At the end of the day, I'm gonna get down.
Yeah,
There's gonna be times when I'm gonna feel sorry for myself and I'm gonna get depressed. I'm gonna get anxious. I'm gonna go through all of the same symptoms that I've had before. But the difference is I've been through it before and I know that I can get through it again.
yeah,
And that's why, as we've spoken about, talking about it, putting your hand up, reaching out.
yeah,
We do it with each other.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was funny for me this week because I haven't actually told anyone. I've just sort of struggled through the week.
Yeah.
I haven't actually told anyone this week. I've been sort of, if anything, unhealthy with it. And then it was funny to walk in here today and then have you say, "Oh, I'm in a bad way," and then naturally I'm sort of like, "Yeah, same," because
Yeah.
I hadn't said anything until I got here, and I'm like, "No, to be fair, I'm laughing and joking it off like I always do." And then, like you, obviously, like you would have had when the woman was speaking, it's you have someone else go, "Yeah, I'm struggling," and
Yeah.
you go, "Yeah, so am I actually."
It's that feeling of not being alone again.
Yeah, and being accepted, like
Yeah.
that's a big thing we've always said. It's so frowned upon with certain people. Some people can't get it in their heads of what depression is and why would you hurt yourself and why do you feel
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Whereas for us, it's like it's really refreshing to have someone go, "I know exactly what you're feeling,"
Yeah.
or "I have half a clue about how you're feeling," or "I haven't felt that before, but I have felt this way."
Yeah.
And it's all these different ways that you can end up being like, "I feel a bit more normal about
Yeah.
it now." It doesn't mean you have that conversation. You go, "Cool, I'm happy again."
No, but it definitely takes a bit of the pressure off. You know what I mean? Just first of all, getting it out there, saying it, rather than living with it, letting it eat you from the inside. It's the worst thing you can do. So just saying the words sometimes is enough.
Mm.
But it puts the wheels in motion, and sometimes it does give you a bit of motivation. It certainly has for me this week with the steps that I've made, and there's a few plans now. So at the very least,
You're not
I can
just
look
winging
forward
it as
to
much.
the hope that it does help. You know what I mean? Of like, well, I've got this coming up, that coming up, and things that I've put in motion to try and help me. And now I'm in the process of trying to look at it positively. Whereas a week ago, not a chance. Anything
Yeah.
you said to be positive, I'm turning my head. You know, just I need to be left alone, and that wasn't the right way to go about it.
Yeah. What do you think there's a way of dealing with things when you don't have them steps and them? Because obviously you have, not that it works or that it works for everyone or that it's always going to work, but you've got that to fall back on to a certain extent where you can go, well, let me try and work on this because that's what I've tried before. But for someone that isn't going through that,
It's difficult, and this is where it's very hard to talk about as far as to public and their perception of it. But if we're going to be brutally honest, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing this for. So I'm not going to pull any punches. I am in a program, and part of that program was finding a higher power. Now, there's many different types of higher power. Everyone has different beliefs, whether it's religious, whether it's spiritual. There's every different one. So I don't necessarily need to go into mine. All I will say is I do have a higher power that I believe in, that I pray to, and that was what saved my life. But at the same time, I can't push that on people because if I'm being entirely honest, when I first went to the program, that was the thing that was making me not want to go back.
yeah,
Was this idea of I had to find a higher power or had to find a religion. I'm a bit like, nah, because I grew up without that. And that was very difficult for me. But I had got to a point personally where I was willing to go to any lengths for recovery. I sort of had no choice. And I thought, listen, if that's what I need to do in order to get sober, in order to be happy again, which I didn't even know how, I didn't even remember how that felt, then bring it. Whatever you're telling me I need to do, I'm willing to do it. That was the rock bottom I was in.
as I say, I think I'd happily say 90% of people at some point in their life must have gone, look, I don't believe in a God, but fuck me if you're out there.
Oh, yeah, I did that before,
and that's why it's funny to think that it is harder to accept that I want to believe in like a higher power or something like that. That there's been times in your life you do wish there was.
Yeah.
So what's the issue with finding that or figuring out?
It was funny because I used to talk about beforehand. Like I say, I didn't have any religious beliefs or even spiritual beliefs back then, but I was always envious of those that did. You know what I mean? Because they seem to have a reason to be here. They strongly believed that they were here for a purpose and that there was, say, it is a Christian God or whatever type of God that they believe in looking over them, then they had a purpose. Whereas for me, who didn't have any of that, that you can get really depressed with that. Of like, what am I here for then? You know what I mean? And this is where, again, I really don't want to say anything too controversial. That's why, again, I can only talk about myself. But there is ways around it as far as you don't have to become a Buddhist You know what I mean? That's not what I'm trying to say. You have to go and find a religion. It's the only way to do it because it's simply not the truth.
I guess part of it, rather than finding what you believe, is finding what you mean, what your meaning is, like that. Whether that's finding a higher power.
You've got to look
or
into yourself.
Else,
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a very tricky subject, and as we've said before, I can only talk about me personally, my personal recovery and battles and journey that I've been on and how it's helped me. I'm not telling people that's what they have to do or they even should do it. It's just that's what worked for me.
Yeah. So I think weirdly one of my biggest struggles in recent weeks, and it's something I've never really felt before, but was like when I was saying about the body dysmorphia thing. I think recently is like the first time I've really sort of looked at myself and gone, I'm not happy with how I look at the moment.
I've gone like this. I don't know how.
I've been doing it, and I'm trying not to do that, but it's a funny one. I'm still not at a point where I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking cry over it. I'm not in my head like I've got to change. But there has been a few times I've caught myself this week, whether it's work and you see yourself on a window or something like that, and I just sort of think to myself, yeah, you look disgusting at the moment.
But it's funny because I think we touched on it before. So I was stick thin my entire childhood and used to get a lot of shit from people for it, you know what I mean? Because I was too skinny and I was tiny and I could not put weight on. Didn't matter, working out, eating, sports, whatever, could not put weight on, and I struggled with that throughout my whole childhood. Then I ballooned up as an adult, obviously drink related, probably plenty of takeaways, things like that, and I got massive. And the next thing you know, I was really big, really fat, and I hated myself. So then I worked so hard to lose the weight. Again, we spoke about it before, and then lost a load of weight, and then hated how I looked again. Then I got too skinny again. So then I'm trying to find that happy medium, and to this day I can't find it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I do, whether I eat more food and think, no, I'm going to put on a bit of pudding, or whether I diet. I'm never happy with the way I look.
Yes, it's a hard one. It's definitely a bigger struggle than you realise. Because I see a thing earlier on in the week saying about gym goers, as they called it, have turned to eating dog food because of the high protein.
Okay.
And I was sort of like, it had that moment in my head where I'm like, even people that are probably in the best shape they've ever been are still constantly worried about how they look and what they want to look like.
Yeah,
they're pushing to the point that they're eating dog food for the protein.
Hands and knees as well out of a bowl.
Yeah. But I find it mad just to think like it doesn't matter who you are and what you look like. No. You're always conscious of how you're feeling and what you look like.
But then that's sort of another thing, because I'm a strong believer in that you should never think that you have made it.
No.
You know what I mean? I think you should always be pushing for the next level, and whether that be in my physical appearance or my mental state as far as sobriety, things like that. You're always looking. I never want to rest on my laurels and go, I've made it. This is what I wanted to get and I've got it. Yeah. Once you get to where your goal was, I think you should be setting another goal.
Yeah.
And so you should always, but obviously that's different when you're getting down about it. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about as far as looking at yourself and genuinely almost making yourself upset because of it.
Yeah, definitely.
When you say, what can I do?
Yeah, that's something I get it. I know a lot of people can relate to this, where you have them late night thoughts trying to go to bed, and that's when everything comes in your head, whether that's bad, good, or like motivational. I have so many nights where I'm like, do I do it? Like, because do I just fucking put all the work into exercise and like dieting and find out what it is and just lose so much weight and blah blah blah. I'm like, I honestly don't think that will make me happy. I have an issue with how I look, but that doesn't mean that, like I said before, I always stand by the fact that that's not something that I have to lose weight then to make myself feel better, or that's who I want to be, or I'm never going to make myself look a certain way to make someone else happy.
No,
I've always stood by my word that if you like something, you should like them for who they are and what their personality is rather than how they look. Obviously, the looks just come into a bonus of what you're attracted to. But
well, that's something that's changed for me now in the last just over a year, is obviously being in a relationship. So obviously me and her are more than happy with how each other look and how we are, you know what I mean? So sorry.
That's all right.
Pardon me, that's terrible.
So gassy.
Both of us are happy, but so obviously it becomes different because you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for them. So as soon as we both give each other the nod, sort of like, no, you don't have to diet, eat a pizza, eat this, you know what I mean? I love you no matter what. Then obviously you do sort of start going, yeah, I'm happy then. And that can change your mental well-being by a long way, because when I was single it was totally different, because there's a perception of how you have to look. If you're going out with the intention of getting with someone of the other sex or however, like, you know what I mean, then
same sex.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Don't discriminate.
Yeah, that's what I froze up for a minute, and I'm getting cancelled after episode 4.
No.
Just by not.
You can have sex with anyone.
Anyone.
It doesn't matter gender,
Doesn't matter.
who you are.
I've
what
gone
you
red
are.
now as
Yeah.
well. I can feel it.
Yeah, you really balls that one up.
Wow. This is why I didn't want to do this in the
I
first
know we're
place.
talking mental health and we go, but you can't have sex with the
I
other.
know, that's what. Let's not even go
Same
down
sex.
that road.
That's
yeah.
disgusting.
Okay.
No, yeah, we are fine with everyone.
Everyone.
We love
every
everyone.
person in the world,
Yeah.
apart from Tottenham. Anything
And
to do with
Sunderland.
Tottenham and Sunderland.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back on track. I don't even know what I was talking about now.
I was going to say what you were saying about the being single.
Yeah, so
there's
there's a pressure on how you have to look to go out, and then that was when I struggled with it the most.
Well, I always find it funny that people's perceptions of us when we go out together. Was I've never been interested in going out and sleeping around.
Yeah.
I'm not like the normal typical lad where I'm like I was ever bothered about how I looked or what I was doing to impress women or impress men. You know, because we don't discriminate.
No.
But and we'd go out and it always maybe it was but I come across more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like we said before, obviously people was like a bit sheepish to come over me at first because I'm just this big lump sitting there. They just see this fat weirdo, but otherwise it would be like when you got chatting to them, I'm the relaxed because I'm not trying to impress them. We could meet a good-looking girl, and I'm not in my head. It isn't. I'm going to try and sleep with this girl tonight. It was just I would just have a laugh and be myself. Whereas with you, sometimes I think it would come across that I know what you're trying to do.
Oh, definitely. There was times, I mean...
And even the way you'd stand and the way you'd look.
Yeah, most of the things that I did in my drinking days and my single days is stuff that I'm far from proud of now.
Of course, yeah.
There's almost none of it. There's
100%.
100%, yeah. I had enjoyable times, don't get me wrong, I had great memories, but there's times when I look back now that, there's a lot that makes me cringe of stuff that I was doing and the way I was acting. And again, it was all a front. It was all...
And then what's funny as well is you then try and give me shit for not doing that sometimes.
Yeah, but then that's built out of my own insecurities.
Yeah, of course. But then I think, I don't know, was that part of that like a jealousy that I could just come down and not give a shit?
100%. I would have thought so. We've got to stop saying 100%.
100%. 100.
Yeah.
Ton.
There is definitely a lot of envy and jealousy and bitterness when I was drinking and even in sobriety.
Yeah.
Because of me being so insecure and unhappy with pretty much everything about myself personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was a lot of that. Me lashing out at people. My acid tongue would ruin people's not just their night. I could ruin lives with the words that I used to say to people with my actions, and most of that was built out of bitterness and jealousy. And again, through doing my step work and going to make amends to people, that's what that was going to confront those people and tell them the truth and explain to them. Obviously every situation was different, but sort of explaining to them that what I did in those days was wrong and explain why it was wrong, explain why I did it, you know what I mean, and sincerely.
Yeah. And
I mean, we actually spoke about this on the Lost episode, so the one that we never put out. We spoke about the fact that I made amends to you.
Yeah. Did we not talk about that again?
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we talked about that on the first one that we never ended up releasing.
Yeah.
But obviously you were high up on the list of someone that I had to come and make amends to because of the stuff I used to say and do in my drinking days, which is what you just touched on as far as whether that was out of jealousy and that. And we spoke about it.
A mix of things, but yeah, it's funny to think anyone would ever be jealous of me though.
I don't think so. I understand why you say that because I'd say the same about myself.
Yeah.
But obviously from an outsider's point of view, you do come across as someone who's very confident, who's got a great sense of humour, who can sing, by the way. Everybody knows that. I can have a sing song. I'm a pub singer. I can jump up on karaoke. Well, I used to be able to when I was drinking, not now. Yeah. No, you can sing.
I don't.
And everybody knows that as well.
I think there's a limit to it. I'm not just under being able to be like a real singer.
Oh, I'm not saying that you're Paolo Nutini.
No, fucking definitely.
That's
not.
What I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying you can't say, oh, you can like sing, and then that's because to me that's like right up there. If you can.
But then I think there's levels to that as far as when people like these professional singers that are unbelievable. First of all, they've had training and lessons. You never had a singing lesson in your life.
Yeah.
So that alone makes a huge difference. I can guarantee that if a singing coach was to get into you, they'd go, Red Bulls are gone, bags are gone, and you'd be like, I'm not interested. Yeah, because you're allowed to with anyone, male or female, singing coach.
Don't discriminate.
Can't even say male and female.
I know.
Because there's more than that, apparently.
It's them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
This is... Oh, no. Move on.
Yeah.
I can't talk about anything. Everything's
cool, so we'll call it there then, I joke.
I know. Yeah, this will be the last time.
Yeah. We probably get killed after this episode.
But as I was saying about anyway, there is plenty of reasons for people to be jealous of you, even if you don't realise it. And like you just said about that is probably one of the things was that. I mean, the other thing as well is I didn't understand that you had your own anxieties and issues going on. So all I could tell is that I'm walking into the pub full of anxiety, knowing that I have to play a character. I don't have to do it anymore, which I'm very happy about. But I used to have to walk in there and put up my front, put on my mask, and play the character for as long as I was in the public. Whereas my perception of you is that you wasn't doing that. That you were chilled and being yourself, and that was something that used to aggravate me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand why I couldn't be like that.
Yeah, it's funny. You just never know looking at someone what they're going through.
I know that people have been jealous of me. There would have been people that are because of what they saw of me. That they could see me on one night out where I'm on form. And I'm stood in front of a table of people and I've got them all curled up laughing. I'm telling amazing stories of things I've done and said, and I'm captivating the room. But again, they don't see the other side of it. They see that and then they leave and they're like, mate, legend. But as we said about before, they don't see what happens after when I have to come down off of that act that I had to put on for the entire night. I've now got to walk back in and be myself. And
yeah, I can't tell you how many times, even from like the young age of going to parties to going to the pub, that it's like the weirdest thing in your head that when you're walking and you feel like a loser doing it, but you're like almost within the 20-minute walk going from your house to the pub, you're like trying to put on this, getting into a character like that. So I mean, it's like when you think of like a person backstage being like, right, come on, this is me now, woof, 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 and they're doing that sort of thing. You do that. Like, that is what
the
I would
person
do.
I was drunk in the pub talked different, walked different, acted different. You know what I mean? So like you say, I have to personify that. I have to become that person.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, people would look at me differently. They'd think something was wrong. If I had decided one night, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go in, I'm going to be myself, and I'm just going to be quite quiet, and I'm just going to stick to my own table or whatever. People would be able to tell that, and people would jump on it. And then you could imagine the panic and the anxiety that would give me. You're all right, you don't seem yourself. You're not like talking, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like I've been found out.
Yeah, because I think there was a few times that more earlier on before, obviously, like closer to your sobriety, but like further back when you wouldn't come out, I'd then feel the pressure of Harry ain't here entertaining. Now I've got to do it. And then I'd start doing it. And then what was funny is I'd have people say to me, like, I didn't know you were like that. I didn't know you were funny. I didn't know you could do this. And I'm sort of like...
Did you got a chance to talk?
Yeah. And it weren't like I felt like I had to. It was just more a matter of like, this seems quiet now and I want to have a laugh and a joke, but there's no one to bounce off as much because Harry's not there now.
So plus, obviously, you are very funny and outgoing and this and that in your own right.
Yeah.
And that was, again, a big part of the amends that I made to you was the shadow that I created. That my personality created, you know what I mean? It's because not literally, obviously.
Because I'm massive.
But yeah, like as far as what I was a bulldozer of a conversationalist as a drinker.
Yeah. I think at first I sort of allowed it more. And then near the end, that's where we'd like bicker and argue a bit more because I got to the point where I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to let you come over and just derail the whole conversation that we're having because you want the attention. It would be like, fuck you sort of thing.
Yeah, and rightly so. And it's the thing, it's like even now, me and you are having a conversation, and the big difference is, first of all, I'm actually listening to everything you have to say. I'm listening, and then when I have something important to say back, I say it. Whereas beforehand, as soon as you opened your mouth, no, hold on, I've got a story. You know what I mean? And I just didn't let anyone get a word in. And that was why the people that had only just met me, they loved me. Because they were like, mate, this is the funniest geezer I've ever met. But anyone else at the table, yourself included, that have known me for a while, was like,
yeah, that's nearer the end. I'd just say,
No, Jack.
I'd say, heard this one. Like, I've heard this, and I'd put you in your place a bit more. It'd be like, no, I've heard this one. I don't want to talk about that.
You know how much I hated that?
Yeah, that's what I mean, because I knew it would get you back up. Because I'm like, that's why I say I got to a point where it's like, maybe even just getting older. And obviously you are the older brother, but I got to a point where I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not feeding that ego. So it'd be like, you go say something, it's a shit story.
Yeah, told this one already tonight.
Yeah, you told that one to them over there. Or I'd tell the punchline. You go start saying it, and I'd say, because you ended up blah, blah, blah.
Do you remember, because I've got a few, I mean, again, we'll probably talk about them at some point. I've got a few sort of infamous stories. Everyone's got anecdotes. I've got hundreds of anecdotes, but I've got 2 or 3 mega anecdotes that are like stand-up comedy bits that I get people requesting. People go, you've got to hear this story. You know what I mean? I've had a few of them. And in all seriousness, sometimes I used to get tired of telling them. Because I've told them hundreds of times. people would then tell their friend about you've got weirdest story, and then I'd have to go, and obviously you've got to go into great detail and do it as if you've never told it before. I
Yeah.
can't do it half-hearted. And there was a time we were in the pub,
Yeah.
and someone said about one story, and I went, oh, and I've told it so many times, but I'm really not in the mood. And you went to start telling it. I'll tell it then, and went like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have jumped down your throat quicker. You were
Nah.
about to tell one of my stories. Oh, no, I'll do it like that. And next thing you know, I'm fully in character, and you're sat there like that with the smuggest look in your face. I knew you'd bite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, there's all them times people wouldn't have known that it's a front, that you are trying to.
It's a shake.
Yeah, that you are trying to just get through the night.
Mm.
You couldn't spend another night indoors, and I'm still bad for it now. Where I'm like, I can't sit indoors any longer because I'll just start going down, and I'll be like, I'd force myself to go out, and especially back then, and I try and get everyone out because I'm like, yeah, this will be good. And then once I'm out, I'm just fucking mega depressed in the back of my head, and I'm like, I've just got to laugh my way through this night now, and then suffer when I get home.
I do want to point something out. I'm known for swearing.
I know,
I
sworn a lot in this one. Yeah, that's because my head ain't there. I'm not.
I swear like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke, and in particular, the C word. This is how good I'm being. I'm not even going to say it. The C word. I use it to describe inanimate objects or people. Yeah. Pick the thing up or pick that up or done. You know what I mean? I use it so often, and when we're doing this, I'm really conscious of not. And I don't think you can go back and watch all the videos. I don't think I've dropped one yet.
Yeah, you've been pretty good.
You have been effing and jeffing this whole time.
I'm like the raw edgy
I know.
One, you know?
I've turned into this like religious freak. This
Yeah.
You're the bad boy now.
Yeah, you never thought that would have happened.
No.
Full 360.
Mhm.
Oh well. Well, yeah, I think people sort of get how we're feeling this week. And where we are and why it's not really, because we said about each week will get better, and I feel like this week again, we've gone into like a lot of good things for people, but it's not regimented again.
The other thing as well is we're putting this out just to see, because if we're being totally honest, I don't know how to word this and not sound rude or whatever. But, you know what I mean? We really didn't get a great reception for the last one, and that's absolutely fine. But again, in the nicest way possible. But I mean, we don't have to do this.
No, that's what I mean. We wanted to.
We want to help.
Yeah. And it is upsetting to like put it out and be like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't what we thought it could be. Which is what happens. There's always trial and error with different things, whether it's this or something else, or like even putting the music out back in the day and stuff. Some videos will start getting low views, and then you think, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, we're doing it it's down to people's demand. If people want us to do this, then we're more than happy to do it. We actively want to help people. That is the whole purpose of this. It's not ego. It's not anything other than trying to spread positivity and help others.
Yeah.
So if that isn't happening, then you know what I mean.
Yeah, we can do that our own way. People can reach out to us.
Yeah, so we're hoping that this is gonna sort of spark what we had at the beginning, where people were excited about it and it was helping people and people were reaching out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
see how people take it, and we'll go from there. Like we said before, each one's just seeing how it goes, basically.
But as it stands, we're thinking 2 weekly.
2 weekly is probably best. We'll keep it at sort of half an hour.
Yeah.
Which is about as long as we've done now.
We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, see if people still want it, and obviously we'll go from there. So.
Cool.
And then if not, we'll just have to result back to singing, I guess.
You can.
Nah, that's long. Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you all soon. Cheers, people. Love you to bits.